Terry tight ass mate? No, we don't know. Yep, first letter, you'll love. What do I do with my Terry tight ass mate? He won't even stick his hand in his pocket to shout you so much as a biscuit crumb, first letter writer. Second letter writer says to us, I can't really understand the anti-wowser movement, whatever that is, who think that every bit of censorship is a deprivation of human rights. And our last letter tonight on Sweet and Sour, what's wrong with being felt up at work if you're a consenting adult and loving it? We'll see what the panel's got to say coming up right now on Sweet and Sour.
Got a problem, big or small, would a miracle be nice? Our motley crew is back, churning out advice. You might even laugh a bit in the following half hour. Park your backside on the couch, cause baby it's time for Sweet and Sour. Right here on Sweet and Sour.
Pour some sugar on there, baby.
It's time for Sweet and Sour.
How's about some chili?
Terrific. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Sweet and Sour. Lovely to have you with us tonight. And terrific to have this lot here as well. Let's meet them straight away. First up, he's back straight out of the kitchen, I believe, Baz.
Gary, great to be back. Last time I was on the show, I was told I was dressed a little too formally.
Yeah.
So I've decided to dispense with the tie, and I hope you think this is okay.
Nice jacket, nice shirt.
A formal sort of guy. And have I mentioned previously that my wife, Amy, is a fantastic cook? Amy, if you're watching, home soon for avgolemono soup. That's a Greek delicacy, which
my favourite
I
as well.
recommend to all of you.
Have you had it before, Lise?
No, I haven't had that before. It sounds delicious.
What about the soup?
You've been to Singapore and you've been to a lion park, you were telling me.
It was amazing. The lions were still walking around, roaming around all a bit. Yeah. Don't know what they're doing. On drugs.
All a bit, yeah. You or the lion?
I don't know anymore.
Welcome back. Nice to have you. Nettie!
Oh, hi, darling.
More
How
river
are
coming
you?
up for you.
Yes, coming up for going camping or glamping, as
What's
we call
glamping?
it. Glamour camping. We take the mattresses off our bed,
Yeah.
we take the fridge, we look like we're moving house.
And check into the Sheraton.
No, $50 a night, more river. Cheapest
Bargain.
mate. Absolute bargain.
Take everyone.
Yeah, oh, gotcha.
Sam, you ever been camping?
No, I haven't been camping, but if anyone would like to take me camping, I'm very lonely. Please just send in a letter to Gary. Gary, thanks very much for having me on.
That's all right. Good to have the king of gotcha calls here.
Yeah, where's my crown?
Oh, you know I'm a Republican, mate. I
Good
don't
point.
do that.
No, I've heard a lot about Sweet and Sour, so it's pretty exciting to finally be on it. I have been aiming to get onto Jamie Redfern's Super Kids. Unfortunately, I'm 15 years too old for that, but if the opportunity does come up one day, Jamie, I would love to sing a Christina Aguilera song on your
You
show.
never stop
please.
trying, Sam. You know this business. You never stop trying. Good to have you here, mate. Good to have all of you here. Straight into the first letter. Dear Mitch, what do I do with my Terry tight-ass mate? He's got a terrific sense of humour, a great perspective on current affairs and world issues. Women love him because he's so engaging, but he won't ever stick his hand in his pocket to shout you so much as a biscuit crumb. He's never been married, and I think that's because he's more concerned with the potential to lose his money in a sticky divorce rather than enjoy the possibility of a permanent companion and finding the love of his life. The big question you're going to ask would have to be, is he happy? Well, the definite answer is, I don't think so. He has so many niggling arguments with all of his mates and family members over such small things like it's your turn to pay for coffees that it's hard to imagine he derives happiness out of these situations. I know he wants to change, but at 45, I think he's too set in his ways and is destined to finish up a lonely old miser. Is there anything I can do to push him out of his comfort zones and into the world of the circular flow of income? He comes to us from Trent, from Mascot in New South Wales. Baz, first up on this one.
This is incredible, Gary. I actually work with a guy in radio who reminds me so much of this guy. He's got a terrific sense of humour, a great perspective on current affairs as part of the job, obviously. World issues, he knows all about them. Women love him because he is so engaging and he's funny and all of those things. But he too will never ever stick his hand in his pocket. I am convinced this is the same person that I work with. He's got everything going for him, except the ability to stick the hand in the skyrocket. And
Hang on, Baz. This bloke's 45. How old's the bloke that you work with?
well, that guy's told me that he's 29, but sometimes his outlook on life is so worldly and advanced that I often think maybe he is older than the age he tells us. I actually have got some advice for people that find themselves in this situation, the friends of Terry Tight-Asses. I call it the pecker, the pecker method, and that is to push them, firstly, to embarrass them, secondly, to criticise them, thirdly, And finally, if all of those fail, to abandon them as friends. The Pecker method. Push, embarrass, criticise and abandon. I tried it on a friend once. It worked. Well, I abandoned him, so it didn't really work, but I got out of the friendship. That's my advice.
Nothing like the softly approach. Lise, got any mates like this? Hang on, do mates think you're like this?
I hope not.
Oh, okay.
I hope not.
Do you put your hand in your pocket?
Sometimes.
Sometimes, all right.
Yeah,
what
no,
do you do
I
here?
think with someone like this, you've got to just steal his wallet, put it behind the bar, order up, you know, the verve, the abalone, the scallops, and then as it's time to pay for dinner.
Mate, you're pushing your luck. He never shouts you so much as a biscuit crumb, and you're the ordered abalone.
Yeah, well, no, you order up and you leave quietly. You don't tell him. You say, oh, I need to go to the bathroom.
Mate, he's left before you. He knows these tricks.
No. So you've got to get him just once a year, and that's why you have to order up on this particular day. And then you sneak out and then call him 5 minutes later and say, look, I wasn't feeling really well, something came up. But use any excuse you can, and then he'll have to pay. Or maybe he'll do it.
Have you actually employed this tactic somewhere?
No, but we did do a dine and ditch once. I've done it once in my life.
A dine and ditch? Is that to the bloke or to the establishment?
No.
They were time.
No, we did it actually to the method that I'm talking about, where you just leave. I would never normally do that.
However,
I did it once because my friends, I was with two friends who were both male,
Yeah.
and one of them was like that. And they came up with this idea and they said, let's just do this.
Oh, you're a
I said, I'm not going
delinquent.
to do it. I'm just so I left first.
Dine and ditch is
I
the
left
posh name for a runner. Is that what you're talking about?
Dine and ditch.
a
yeah.
runner.
We
Oh
did
my
it.
goodness.
It was actually lots of fun because
done
it was
that once.
quite risky. I was only 19.
I did it on purpose though because the service was atrocious and they came over and abused us, and there were 60 of us
That was
in one hit.
Yeah.
And I said, mate, you apologise or 60 of us all leave. And it wasn't to me, it was to somebody else on the table. Hands on their hips and said, nope. And I said, well, I'll give you my name and address so you can follow it up, but we're all leaving. And 60 of us got up and walked out.
After you do it.
That's great.
And on top of that, the management then wrote to me and apologised and gave me additional dinners. It was terrific.
Can you still go back to McDonald's after that?
How did you know? Why is this man so insecure?
Well, the thing is with Terry Titus, you can't do anything about a Terry Titus. They will never, ever, because that's just the way they'll never change. All you can do is make fun of them when you get together when he's not around and tell all funny stories, like we do. There's nothing worse than someone who's as tight as two coats of paint. I do have a friend that, honest to God, I'll be really quick. I don't understand him, but he once invited everybody over for a PlayStation night.
Yeah.
They all got didn't supply any food, got everyone around, and then everyone said, oh, why don't we order pizza? He goes, oh, okay, but I don't think I should have to put in because you're using my electricity.
Yeah.
Wow.
Can you? No, it just renders you speechless.
Did everybody leave?
Everyone's just like, they're just so used to it. Can you imagine?
It's embarrassing.
Isn't that just like mortifying?
Sammy?
Ring any bells, Sam?
Sammy?
Write that one down, Sam. You haven't
Know any blokes that this one works
You
with?
guys, you're using the word tight ass. I would say frugal. And look, I'm good with my money and I'm saving. I'm thinking about my future. And maybe your friend is the same, the person who wrote in here. Maybe they're saving to buy you a present. I mean, don't write the tight asses off.
I doubt it.
They could have grander plans in mind. So I'm standing up for the tight asses. Stay strong and don't open your wallets.
Nah, one's a tight ass, always a tight ass. There's no liberating that
there's
wallet.
nothing
No.
worse,
Hang on.
yeah.
Is that your perspective? One's a tight ass, always?
Yeah, never change.
Lise?
I agree.
Yep.
never change.
Hang
Sammy?
on, he's got two Mercedes. What do you think he's going to say, Gary?
How do you think you're going?
Generous.
When we come back, we're going to be talking about the Australian government's plans for the internet filter. Don't go away. Welcome back to Sweet and Sour. If you'd like to send us a letter, send it to the address that's appearing right now on your screen, which is Sweet and Sour. No, it's not. It's letters@sweetandsour.net.au. And for every letter that we do discuss, we're going to send you to the movies, courtesy of Natalie Cameron and NRC Communications. And the movie we're sending you to this week is Date Night, starring...
That's right, Tina Fey.
and Steve...
Steve Carell.
All right, some people have seen it. Terrific. Hello, Sweet and Sour and guests. Look, we have to start somewhere. I really do applaud the Rudd government's initiative proposing to install a universal filter on the internet. The worst I've heard is that it will slow up downloading a little, and is that such a bad thing when the benefit is that kids won't have access to pornography? I really can't understand the anti-wowser movement who think that every bit of censorship is a deprivation of human rights. What about the rights of kids to grow up in a wholesome environment free of depravity? I can't see any valid reason not to go ahead with the filter. Perhaps we can also begin to filter out the websites of some of these dangerous and extreme political groups as well. Come on, we've all had enough and it's time to bring the world back to a saner, healthier place. Miranda of Kew in Victoria, and we're going straight to Sammy first.
The reality is there is no wholesome environment. I mean, you know, you could take away the internet, but if you walk into a service station, the Zoo Weekly magazine's right there for kids to see. Yep. If you flick it onto an unnamed commercial network, you'll see shows like Underbelly, where, you know, you might see boobs in the first 5 minutes, or even worse, you might see Matt Newton's arse in last series. This stuff is out there, you cannot avoid it. And I think one of the great things about the internet is the freedom of speech, and is the fact that everyone can have an opinion. I'm pro keeping the internet as it is.
I saw the American ambassador to Australia on Q&A last week, and he was saying that all the countries that we have relationships with, strong relationships with, we are trying to convince them to abandon any filter on the internet because it's one of those free things that should be included in a Bill of Rights. The internet is free and should be free from any restrictions. So he certainly agrees with you.
I agree with him. I want to see websites that, you know, catsthatlooklikehitler.com. You know, there's all sorts of great websites that if we put restrictions, suddenly, you know, you wouldn't be able to have these great creative ideas.
Sam, what about the point that kids can, you know, download and upload everything, and there's a lot to be said for keeping them out of danger, in harm's way, and one of the ways is to filter off.
Look, I understand where people are coming from there, and it's generally family groups, and they only have one disposition, and that's outraged. But to the family groups and to parents, I say, I mean, I'm not a parent, but I would imagine it's about how you deal with that stuff. You know, talk to your child about it. The reality is, out in the big bad world, you're going to be exposed to these things. It's about what your child knows and how to deal with it personally. And, you know, you can't ever hide those things away. That's real life.
Nettie, you can't ever hide those things away. So how do you deal with it as a parent?
The one thing you shouldn't hide away is put the computer in the kids' room, because then they get up to all sorts of things. You gotta have the computer off the kitchen area, because Mum and Dad we're always in the kitchen area, and that's what I've got with my kids. So I can constantly see what they're giggling about and all that kind of jazz, you know, as I'm walking past. And the other thing is, if you can't do a worldwide filter, but if you do want to do a filter, like get Nanny Net or something like that, where you can just filter
on your own computer.
Yeah.
What do you think about the Rudd government stance about putting a filter on the whole lot of everything coming through?
You can't
waste
do
of
that.
time, waste of space.
Yeah, I think a waste of time, and I think it's up to the individual families to make a decision. Yeah.
It's quite bizarre, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so.
All right, Lise, what's your take on this?
I think censorship starts in the home as well, and to put a blanket rule out, I think it's ridiculous. If we start putting it on the internet, where does it stop? We're such a heavily policed country as it is. I think it's ridiculous. And it comes down to in the home, exactly as you say, Ned, but you have to keep it out of the bedrooms, you know, keep it as a point of discussion as well. Educate them. To hide it away isn't going to work. So,
are we part of the anti-wowser movement who think that every bit of censorship is a deprivation of human rights, as Miranda of Kew says, or is this just common sense that we abandon any?
That's right.
You say common sense?
It's just common sense.
Sam?
It's like you wouldn't put porn on in your on your video player, or have that away.
Definitely not on your video player.
You know, you wouldn't have those DVDs just hanging around, would you?
Did you see Sam's face as he said that?
I don't know what the anti-wowser movement is.
Yeah.
I mean, it sounds impressive, but what is a wowser?
I don't know. I don't think it's got any
pro-wowser?
members.
Okay.
Imagine what the membership fee would be. I don't know. So far, 3 out of 3 say no filter. Baz?
No, I think that's, let's make it 4 out of 4, shall we? I think when you're a child, if you're deprived something, you will go and find it elsewhere anyway. So the best thing to do is give kids access to the internet under the safe and parentally supervised ways that you discussed. And it's interesting, you know, if ever you go to Europe, and I remember going to Europe as a young kid, and I was kind of struck at the time by 2 things that were available in the little corner shops. They don't have delis, but they have those little huts, as you know, on most corners. And there was pornography available at all of those, and alcohol available at all of those. Yet those 2 things weren't a major factor in the societies of Europe. And that's, I think, because they're there, kids can see them, they grow up around them and they go, oh yeah, it's no big deal.
Mature society.
But take it away from them and suddenly they think, well, they've taken it away from us, that must be something we've got to get into. So leave it there and just get the parents to keep an eye on things.
And if my mum was on the panel, she'd say, well, have you seen those films on SBS anyway? So there you go. When we come back, we're going to be talking about whether it's okay nowadays to screw the crew that you work with. When we come back.
Me? I'm not talking. I haven't got any. Just think to say.
Wow, good evening, welcome back to Sweet and Sour, and we're going straight into the letter. Hi guys! The girls were sitting around gossiping as we always do, and we realised that each of us has had at least one relationship that was initiated at work. So much for not screwing the crew. As we all chatted and revealed certain juicy bits about our office-initiated relationship, it turns out that each of us has also enjoyed a little intimacy in the workplace. Or, for the fellas on the panel who don't get it, we've all been felt up at work and thoroughly enjoyed it. We got it. And as Neddy said, very classy.
Yeah.
This flies in the face of everything that's supposed to happen in the workplace, so we've been made to think, and each of us has also been made to feel a little guilty for no other reason than having those silly ideas that have been instilled in most of us about what's wrong and what's right. So the question from the six of us is, what's wrong with being felt up at work if you are a consenting adult and loving it? And it's signed the beautiful band of buxom brunettes in Brisbane, and we're going straight to Lise. What's wrong with being felt up at work?
Oh, if you're consenting adults and you're all single, go for it, I say. And I think everyone knows someone that's done it or perhaps done it themselves. But
This happens all the time.
Yeah.
At work.
Yeah.
During the boss's time, you're telling me that there's people
the
around...
sneaky little meetings in the coffee room, like you email, let's go meet at the coffee maker, and you know, no one's there, you can get up to a bit of mischief. And if you're young and you're single, or if you're old and you're single, or if you're not even single, I guess, go for it.
Does this add to workplace harmony and a sense of motivation?
I'm sure the HR department would be devastated to find out, and given that I work in the HR industry as well, it's not something you want to know about, but you're a bunch of little tarts, quite frankly, I think. But it does sound like a bit of interesting hanky-panky, and I say go for it. Why not live a little? You can only do it when you're young.
You're a bunch of tarts, but you've obviously done it before. You're so enthusiastic about this.
Well, to define the term felt up as well, I don't like...
You define it.
We don't want a demonstration game.
Is that just a, you know, the flirtation and a... You know, a wink.
No, felt up is
felt up is tactile.
Tune in Tokyo.
That's felt up. I don't mean to be so, but you know.
Exactly, because it can also go as far as, you know, having sex at work or on the boardroom table or something. And I know people that have done that.
I've led a very sheltered life.
Have done this.
Goodness, man. And this goes on all the time, does it?
Not all the time, but...
Well, what times does it go on?
Yeah.
Does it go on at lunchtime?
No, after work, you know, after work drinks.
After work is all right.
And you're a responsible person, and therefore you can stay in the office longer.
Each of us has been felt up at work, and they all enjoy it.
I just hate the term felt up.
What do you call it?
You have a pash, or you flirt. I don't know. I'm confused.
How do people feel about this, knowing that their spouses are going to go to work?
No,
and this happens?
okay. I think it's okay as long as you're single and not interfering with anyone else's relationship. And I'm assuming that you are, and that you're young, and that you're describing yourself as buxom brunettes. You have to be.
So you don't think there's anything wrong with it?
No, as long as no one else's relationship is being affected.
How do you police that? Baz, does this sort of thing happen at your workplaces?
Actually, there are some offices designed specifically for this sort of thing. They are offices that have complicated workplace systems, Sam. Sam would be familiar with some of these. These are organisations that deliberately go out of their way to have certain protocols in place that will encourage or at least facilitate the time to help and make these things happen. I think if it happens on the boss's time, though, it's not really
No,
fair,
agreed.
is it?
No.
I mean, the boss is paying you, he's doing the right
Probably
thing.
the boss.
You think so?
God, yeah.
But he's allowed to do whatever he likes as long as it's within the law.
Oh, yes.
Because it's his
That's a
business.
stretch.
Well, it's not in the law.
Well, no, he can't do
No,
whatever he
he
likes.
No, as long as it's within the law. He can't go over the law, but
No.
it's the boss's place of work.
Yeah.
So as long as he stays within the law, it's the boss's place.
But I guess
But are you going to muck around on the boss's time? Sorry, Baz.
No,
I-
well, I guess one thing you would say is that often the place you do meet people is at work because that might be the only other people you come in contact with. So I guess it is inevitable that there is a certain amount of hanky-panky in the workplace. But trust me, it's the ones with the complicated workplace systems where it happens the most.
Come on,
Such
Sam.
as-
Come on, Sam. You've got a complicated workplace system, obviously.
Yeah, I've got no idea what Basil's talking about. Look, my first concern when I read this letter was that it may have been from a cast member on Hey Dad. Then I read through and noticed it was about 6 buxom brunettes, and I thought to myself, hey, if you're a buxom brunette, then you deserve to be felt up. What's the point of being buxom if no one's enjoying it? So I say, good on you girls in Brisbane. Well done.
Here's Vegas.
Final word
I
to
didn't know
Nettie
we were
Abdullah.
receiving letters from strip club employees. I mean,
Oh,
that's
they're
honestly.
not.
Oh, I reckon they're most definitely all working in a mechanic shop, quite frankly.
Hang on. At least Baz, Sam, they've all said, oh, there you go.
Oh,
It happens.
I just must live a sheltered work
Me
life.
too,
I have
me too.
never ever been felt up or in the. Or maybe then chatted up.
No,
Felt
no.
up's like under the skirt, isn't it? I mean, is that what we're
Yeah,
talking here?
all right, can we define felt up?
No, we can't because
Well,
that's
I
what
read-
the letter
imagine that
says.
it involves some sort of physical touching. It's not kissing, because if it was kissing, you'd say kissing or passion.
Yeah.
So surely
Felt up is felt in a sexual
well, I don't know if
way
you do
across
that
the
exact
breast
maneuver,
and
Gary.
the
There's a bit of an insight into your background, but if that's what you want to go with, then that's felt up. The
It's
universal
my
sign.
Greek background. I talk with my hands. That's all, Sam.
Ella. Yeah, but no, not part of my. I don't think. I think it's really inappropriate.
Inappropriate.
But good to flirt if you're single, and you know, regardless of it is good for flirt and to because if you enjoy going to work. See, this is what I think the bosses have to know. People enjoy going to work because they're flirting with the
Flirt, but don't
guy and they're
touch.
happy to go. You can touch each other if you're consenting, but like if you're like
the boss's time.
if you're like the older guy and you're feeling up the younger chicks, it's
Like at a
just
Christmas
like,
party,
oh,
maybe you're dressed up as
yeah.
Father Christmas, you say,
Oh.
"Go sit in my lap."
There's some big court cases coming out of this. This is
Totally.
Well, you know what? After this letter, I'm going to join the
listen.
Wowzers movement from the previous letter.
But they're loving it. They're loving it. Absolutely, that's the thing.
Yeah.
They're not even complaining about it. They're saying we love it.
much
It's become. They're saying it's sort of all PC to say it, but in fact they're absolutely gagging for it.
Okay. Well, 2 of us are
Yeah.
gagging.
Yeah.
The three of them on the panel give you a license
Is
to
this
go
still
out
on
and
the
do
air?
it. I don't know.
I hope my mum's not
We've got to
watching.
get out of here. Do you like the last letter to give away the pair of limited edition sunnies
Sparked
courtesy
the
of...
most controversy, didn't
Yes.
It has
So-
indeed.
Yes.
Coming out
its job
to the
is.
buxom
Yeah,
band
good
of... hang on, the beautiful buxom band of brunettes
Brunettes.
from Brisbane, a pair of limited edition sunnies. We've got to disappear. Baz, thanks for being on the
Great
show.
to be here. I hope I'm back before too long. Thanks a lot for having
We
me
are
once
too.
again.
Lise, enjoy your next trip.
Thank you very much. It's been great being
Where are
here.
you headed? Singapore again?
Yeah.
You love the Lions?
Love it.
Not a football team. Mate,
Mate.
all those stars that you're dealing with now.
I know.
Fantastic.
Yeah, it's very exciting.
See you again soon.